Hi, we are back with Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous companion builds for unfair difficulty, and today we are taking another look at Seelah. This time we are doing a damage dealer build, as Seelah is one of the companions with the highest strength score, and highest strength usually equals a good damage dealer. This build we are going to go mostly for paladin levels, but are also going to take some levels into Hellnight to really boost her damage. And if you don't know the channel and don't know how I make my builds, they are all tested from early to late levels. Mostly I use them on my own playthroughs, and when I'm happy with the results and I'm sure that it can get through the game on unfair, then I do some more testing on higher levels if needed, and then I make the videos. But the main goal of my builds is not to make YouTube videos, but to get through the game on unfair difficulty on my own playthroughs. The builds also don't exploit any bugs or glitches, so despite any patches made to the game, they should remain viable. Now that all that's out of the way, let's get to the build. Here we're going to take a look at this build in some low level combat. Because we start as a paladin for the first few levels, I think most people already know what to expect from her. It's nothing too amazing, but she's also not bad. She doesn't have a high chance to hit, but she does have Smite Evil, and if your animal companion ends up dying, if you are using her with a sword and shield instead of a glaive, she can actually tank for some turns with protection from evil and protective luck backing her up. There are some fights in which she can last for a few rounds, and her damage is not that bad. Melee characters are usually stronger than ranged ones in the early game, and you can see here, just her and the dog are doing some good work on this fight, taking down some enemies. Yeah, so this build doesn't start off that bad. But yeah, it's far from amazing as well on the early game. For this build, we start with 11 levels of Paladin, and because of that we do not have the strongest early levels, because Paladin only has really Smite Evil as an offensive feature at these early levels, and has some useful support features in Lay on Hands and its auras, but even its early spells are not that relevant. So we do take a while to get going. But starting this build at level 3, we get our first feat into Shield Bash, then we also get our first Mercy for Fatigue. At level 4 we get our first ability point, and all ability points in this build are going to go into Charisma. At level 5 we take Outflank as a feat, and we also get our choice of Divine Bond. Here I took Weapon. I don't like having too many animal companions in a party, and I don't think the horse is the strongest. So I'd much rather have another companion with a leopard, a boar, or even a dog, instead of having a horse from the paladin. And even though animal companions are always strong, I don't like having too many, and because I already have other companions with better animal companions, I did take the Divine Weapon here, but I don't think the horse is a bad option. Then at level 6 we take Mercy Dazed. At level 7 we are going to take 2 Weapon Fighting, and to take this you will need a Belt of Dexterity plus 2. You do find one at level 6 during the Grey Garrison, so you should just be able to equip this on Seelah and take the 2 Weapon Fighting at level 7. At level 9 we get Improved Critical Longsword, and we also get Cursed as our last Mercy. At level 11 we take Shieldmaster as a feat, and here we finally got our Mark of Justice, which is what we wanted. So this is going to be our last Paladin level. And to go into our next class, it is important that you have Knowledge Arcana at rank 2. So if you did not have any points into Knowledge Arcana, be sure to take at level 11 2 ranks into Knowledge Arcana. After our 11 levels in Paladin, we go to level 12 for our first Hellnight level. And here, at level 1, we get Smite Chaos, which is going to stack with our Smite Evil, giving us double our Charisma to attack, and also Smite Chaos scales faster in damage. It gets 2 damage per class level, while Smite Evil gets only 1 damage per class level. We also get a choice of discipline, of order, and here we take Order of the Nail. This is going to give us a favorite enemy, which is a very strong feature from the Ranger class. And my choice for favorite enemy is Demons of Strength. You can see some examples on the end of the description are Baylor, Nephshine, and Vavakia. And some of those are very strong types of enemies which you do want to take down as fast as possible, and favorite enemy is going to help us with that. Then moving to level 13 we get Bashing Finish as a feat. Level 14 we get a choice of Force of Will for compulsion effects and a Hellnight Discipline for Onslaught. At level 15 we get Improved 2-Weapon Fighting as a feat. And at level 17 we get Greater 2-Weapon Fighting and also another Force of Will, this time for Charm, and a Discipline for Shackle. Then at level 19 we get Combat Reflexes at our last feat, and finally we get our Force of Will Fear, and our last discipline is going to be Censor. Here I forgot to mention, but for Greater 2-Weapon Fighting you will need a belt of Dexterity plus 6, it should not be hard to find one at level 17, and yeah, it's a feat that in my opinion is worth the item slot for that belt of Dexterity plus 6. You can just cast Boost Strength for a bonus to your Strength score. For our Mythic feats and abilities, we start with Last Stand. Since this is a melee character, this is pretty standard for my build. I do think Last Stand is amazing for any character really, but melee characters need it earlier, on Unfair especially. Into level 2 we take 2-Weapon Fighting Mythic, this is basically a +2 to our attacks. Level 3 we take Abundant Smite. At this point we should be close to our Mark of Justice, and we want to be able to use it more times per day if possible. At level 4 we take Ever Ready, this is always great for any character with Outflank or Seize the Moment. At level 5 we take Leading Strike for some extra damage. Level 6 we take Improved Critical Mythic Longsword. At level 7 we take Abundant Smite Chaos. At level 8 we take Flawless Attacks, and at level 9 Unrelenting Assault. Now, if you feel like you don't need as many uses of Smite Chaos or don't need the extra damage for Unrelenting Assault, you can take Inspirational Leader in this build. Otherwise you can just take it at level 10. Though this is very strong, and if you don't have anyone else in your party with it, I feel like this build does have some room to take Inspirational Leader, either where we took Smite Chaos or Unrelenting Assault. We do get some spells in this build, though with only a caster level of 8, they are not going to be that impactful. At level 1 we do have our Divine Favor, which becomes a +2 to our attack and damage. At level 2 we have some actually very good options in Bestow Grace. It needs to be used in a good companion, but its effect is quite strong. We have Aura of Greater Courage, which is also not bad. And here, just to remind you, because we will be using a Belt of Dexterity because of our 2-Weapon Fighting feat line, we do want to cast Boost Strength on ourselves or have someone else cast on us. At level 3 we get Archon's. Our saving throws are not going to be the highest, but it is good to have. If an enemy happens to low roll, the effects are good. And we also have Delay Poison Communal, and because it lasts for 1 hour, we are a good option to cast it and don't need to cast it with a companion that has better spells. Now for our equipment, we definitely want a Headband of Charisma +6, because this is going to boost both our Mark of Justice, which is a buff to our entire party's attack, but also buff both our smites, so we basically double dip into the Charisma. For Amulet, I like using this build Deathly Arousal. It is a good defensive option, and this build is not very tanky, so this helps. For our glasses, the +1 sight bonus to attack and damage, as usual for damage builds. Just a Cloak of Resistance, Belt of Dexterity, we need that because of our 2-weapon fighting fit line. For bracers, I have this one, which increases the damage of our shield as our offhand weapon. And as our sword, I have Radiance. This is a holy weapon. Here it's also unholy because I got this one with a trickster character. But yeah, holy weapons are good in this game. We can make it axiomatic as well with our Divine Weapon Bond. And for shield, the Undying Love of the Hopebringer. This is probably the strongest heavy shield. I do think it's better on a character that can use the evil effects. But it's also not bad on a good character, and yeah, that's what we use. And having duality of conjuration and summoning is not bad, because as an effect, this can trigger Scroll of Resourceful Smite, which can permanently increase our casts of Smite Evil. So this is actually quite strong to be using in Seelah regularly, and if you get lucky, you can increase your casts of smites. Here we are going to take a look at this build in high level combat. Let me cast Divine Favor. As buffs from our companions, we have Legendary Proportions, True Seeing, and Heroism Greater. Everything else is self-cast. We have the Leopard to tank, and we are going to open with a Smite Evil. The Leopard can go ahead and tank for us, and I also want to follow it up with a Smite Chaos already. And you can see our first hits coming in. Here it looks like we took a hit to strength. Yeah, we failed a Fortitude saving throw. We rolled a 1. Yeah, great. But let's take a look at our hit chance. We have a 55 at our highest BAB, and our damage is not bad, hitting at a 76, 46 to damage. So let's see our iterative attacks. Here we have a 62, because of the Shield Master bug. The shield does have a higher attack bonus because Shield Master is bugged. I hope they fix it soon. It gives a random +7 that it shouldn't. But yeah, our chances to hit are pretty high. And here we hit a critical with our shield. It's not that high, with the sword it gets higher, but let's keep going. Let's use our Onslaught. Oof, that hit to strength was rough. Really lowered our chances to hit. But we take the enemy down anyway. Let's see if we can take this one now. Smite Chaos. Smite Chaos does do more damage, so it's better to start with that if you are going to cast only one. Let's throw Smite Evil. Since we took that hit on strength, our chances to hit are much lower now. They're critical with the sword for 190. And yeah, enemies are going down fast. This is a strong build. It does have also Mark of Justice to give that bonuses to your party. And yeah, overall I do like we have several attacks. high damage, chances to hit are consistent, and those enemies we fought are not even favored enemies. If they are, we get a +6 to both hit and damage as well against them. And we do not have that many buffs, we have just the ones I mentioned from companions, otherwise just our Divine Favor, Boost Strength, and of course our Smites, and also I'm using Divine Weapon Bond with the Axiomatic feature. And yeah, overall I really like this build. It's just consistent damage, a good support option with Mark of Justice, and the usual Paladin lay on hand stuff. It's a very simple build, but effective. And yeah, that is it for the build. This one doesn't have anything too fancy, but is a strong one. And if you like it, let me know in the comments as always. If you have any improvements, I'd also love to hear them. And yeah, if you like my videos, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment to support, a like as well, and until the next video, I hope you have a good time.